Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Embody Your True Essence with me, Ikue. Today is step 23, Pisces, and it's about thinking in our head a lot. But tomorrow we have a full moon in lunar eclipse, so powerful energies all around. And this is the week we need to really elevate ourselves and keep our positive thoughts. But also at the same time, I'm learning to surrender, getting better and better at surrendering more. There's nothing to control, and when something is falling apart, it's just let them. So I don't get caught up with the fear. I think I've been talking a lot about fear, but what is fear, right? And I think this is the moment we need to really let go with faith. And but also at the same time, it's like fear itself is a powerful energy, but also anything that associates with it's noisy. Anything that associate with all the fear-based thoughts are just coming up right now. So just easy on yourself as usual. And yeah, I am happy that the weather is nice in Vancouver. It's gorgeous, and it has been raining quite a bit, so that makes me happy already. Yeah, Grand Rising. Hi, Ruby Singh. Hi, Nancy. 90 Nance. Hi, good. Nice to see you. Hope everything is going well. Yeah, I trust that everything is going well, and I'm learning to upgrade my perspective in life so that I can see things more clearly. I think that's what it is in general, because when I have that emotions, right, whether that's a sadness or fear or that's anger, and then if I don't take care of them, and then that becomes really, really big, and to the point that I cannot ignore, and these feelings get really overwhelming. And when that happens, it clouds my intuition, it clouds my heart desire. And then it will started to show up in my life or show up in my body. And I think that was one of it, like my left eye. It's a lot better. I feel like maybe you can't really tell, but it's definitely better. Definitely better. And I also noticed that my left eye going through some stigmatism. Like, I had LASIK surgery back in 2008. That's when I fixed my nearsight and stigmatism. But the vision changes, right? And I noticed that since I've been on this Fascia universe journey, my eyesight has been really, really good. And but right now, I think it's going through a construction. And so I'm not too worried. Like, I'm definitely, like, I feel a little blurry on my left side, but I think it's also part of it. It's like my left side, which is my feminine side, and going through upgrade. And whatever that, it's basically my blind spots, right? Anything that I've been ignoring, or anything that I have been not facing or releasing, those things are coming up. And I'm using my outer world opportunities to let go of what has inside, what has been inside. So I am, just like letting go. I think when I'm in fear, I think when we are in fear, we are automatically in fight or flight mode. We're not regulating our nervous system. And when that happens, then, we were not trusting, right? So I think definitely the message is here for me, to surrender and let go with trust, and just like taking care of my emotions as we go through this powerful transformational time. And tomorrow is a full moon. We're definitely feeling that energy. And I woke up, like, I think 1 week ago, I was holding a lot of anger came up, and that's one of it. I got the sty, and it's definitely the anger that I'm showing me, and I'm acknowledge that. At the same time, today I woke up with feeling a little sadness, things that I thought, will work or something. It's not showing me the way I want, kind of thing. And this is where we need to, this is where I need to calm down myself and take care of my emotion at all costs, because that could be in the way of my third eye intuition, for example, because emotions are in the way. And that's where I noticed in this Pisces season, that's where I got stuck every time, because my emotions were so heavy. Then you know why there are you know why they were heavy? Because in daily life I tend to ignore some of my emotions and bypass them, and over time it's accumulated in my body, in my fascia. So wow, I see that patterns now. So what do I do? I learned that emotions are meant to be cared. And when we all came into this earth, we have these emotions, and it's kind of like our inner child that we need to take care of. And over time, as we practice, we learn to nurture this inner child, and then we become the royal nanny for these emotions. So that's something that I'm working on, instead of like ignoring that inner child, because inner child gets angry if I don't take care if I don't take care of them. So how become the royal nanny? I am learning to catch the subtle moment of this sadness, instead of taking it like kind of like for granted, and it's like, oh, you are there, I don't know what to do with you, boom. Rather than that was my old story. So now when I catch a moment, like I woke up feeling sad, it's like, hello sadness, what do you want me to do? Why are you feeling? So I think the good question to ask when the feeling comes up is, hello, you name, you can even name your emotions, but it's good to say, hello sadness, hello fear, hello anger, what do you want me to see? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What are you teaching me? What do you want me to do? So this is how you can start to build a relationship with your emotions. And I am finally learning that. Okay, so today is step 23. I sense new options. Today is a Gemini day, I think. Step 23, I sense new options, is a step for today. Coinciding with a full moon lunar eclipse at the end of the step day. If yesterday had a breakdown, then today will come the breakthrough. Expect the mind to stumble on a eureka moment, making sense of what came up the past few days. Feel through the details of what may need to be changed. Yeah, so that's the key, right? What may need to be changed. I think that full moon, every time, regardless of what any type of full moon we have, when we have full moon, there's a light of the moon just casts a shadow of everyone, right? Like when you go in outside on the street on the full moon day, and even though it's night, the light is there and it casts a shadow. So every full moon we're called to face our shadow. Then shadow comes up. The bigger the shadow is, bigger the I like to say your blind spot, our blind spot, bigger your blind spots are, then it seems like there's a lot of fear around it, right? And we've been shown a lot of shadow, the aspects of ourselves that we have been ignored. So, and especially with the lunar eclipse, I think that the shadow energy is so high. And because we're a light being, because we're light, if we have part of ourselves that have been ignored, this is just the absence of light. So when that happens, it seems like the darkness is so huge, and I tend to think like, wow, how traumatized I am, how broken I am. But this is where we need to shift the narrative, right? When things came up, like even like the eyes, it's like, okay, my left eye is going through something, but it's up to me to think that I am going through this transformational constructive time, like a construction time. My left side, my feminine side, is under construction. This is my shadow side. This is my beautiful feminine side, and it needs an upgrade so I can see things more clearly. So definitely that's a breakthrough moment, and we are feeling through the details of what may need to be changed. Maybe the way to look at life, right? Can you see the different perspective about what's happening right now, instead of you having your old mindset? It's like, okay, this is so old, so bad, and we're going back, right? That itself could be that you are still caught up in the matrix. It's like, okay, I talk about yesterday's live. What if we were able to let go of our fear completely, drop that fear, because fear itself does not exist, and it's the way the matrix tried to trap us in over and over again. Then just know that every time fear comes up, it's like, oh no, thank you for this fear, but I choose to make a different decision. Like, maybe just know that fear doesn't exist, and thank you, fear, for maybe trapped for a very long time, but I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. So Uranus shift to 24 Taurus, making the time for reprogramming our thoughts, has now shifted to be open to belong with it. A full moon lunar eclipse happens late tonight, indicating that some structures are now being left behind. So that's a good news. Some structures are now being left behind. Mercury at step 9 Aries begins to slow to a stop, indicating that a new character could be wanted another title. With so much happening to knock prior perceptions down, now is the time to sense and feel what could be. Yeah. So, do you notice any new character of yourself? Or any new change happening in you in this lunar eclipse? I'm definitely learning to, like, we're kind of being forced to being comfortable about not knowing what we are doing. Right? Where are we heading? What are we doing? And when we started to overthink everything, and what's his name? When you watch Matrix, there's like a little not Yoda, that's Star Wars. There's a guy character where basically betrayed Neo, right? And then is betray Neo, and then pass Neo onto that Mr. Smith. You know who I'm talking about? And because his reasoning was, I was probably happier if I had not known all this truth. I could have just, stay ignorant and stayed in Matrix, and I probably would have been happy, because this steak used to taste so good. Now I know so much more, and I know that this steak doesn't exist, so it's like tastes like shit. So it's like, and then he just, he did that. He betrayed Neo. And that exchange was to Mrs. Smith that, I want to just put me back into Matrix, and so that I don't have to worry about any of this shit that going on. It's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And I understand that. And I kind of addressed that yesterday, right? It's like, what if we didn't know, like, we just stay ignorant and then just follow everything? And do you think we would have been happy, right? Like, I think especially since COVID time, like, we've been shown and we've been working through and see the truth in everything and questioning everything. And it's like, it's not even like, happiness. Because it's like going into this loop, right? Another thing is, I just watched this, and it was in the Netflix. It was, okay, so bear with me, because I'm not Christian, and I did not grow up going to Christian church or anything like that. But I found this, and I was intrigued to watch this kind of like story of Moses, like 10 testaments of the story of Moses or something like that, on Netflix. And there was a 3 episode, and it was, it's based on the Bible, Christianity in Israel like all of that. All of that, sorry, bear with me, my English and my knowledge towards like Quran, like the Muslim, Islam, and all of that. And because the Moses showed up in Christianity and Bible, and yeah, it is Muslim and also Hebrews, all of that, right? So, and the story is, I knew bits of bits, like this what happened, he split the sea, like all of that. But I actually got to watch this, and it was very profound for me. And is, he wasn't God or anything like that. He was a human being that was chosen by God, and he had these hardships and tried to, like basically bring all his people back to Canaan, or and then because that's the promised land, but he couldn't even got to see that promised land. And 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 then after he managed to get all the people out of Egypt, that itself was so hard. But he's like, they spent 40 years trying to get to this promised land after they got out of Egypt. And it's basically the people who were enslaved by the Egyptians for 400 years were so used to being encaged. And I learned about this syndrome that they were talking about, Stockholm syndrome. It's kind of like even though like you've been put down and abused, and but somehow you got familiar with that abuse. So every time they were not used to, because they were enslaved for 400 years, they earned the freedom thanks to Moses. But because they needed to, walk and search for food and water, and then they were always hungry, and then all of that, they constantly complained to Moses. It's like, whoa, things would have been better if we just stayed in Egypt. We were abused, but at least we had water or something like that. And I think what I'm trying to do is, just like that guy in Matrix who betrayed Neo, just like the Hebrew people who got out of the slavery system and got out of the Matrix, and now like walking with uncertainty, but somehow got freedom, but don't know what to do with this freedom, and like we get hungry, all of that. And I just thought that maybe how I was feeling yesterday is very similar to this type of energy. Once we came out of the Matrix, and then there's a pull of like needing to go back to the system, because somehow this system that got trapped us in, we're comfortable. We have water, we have drinks, even though we didn't know how much we were abused by the system, right? And even fear, like fear-based thoughts, that's part of life too. But at the same time, like when we are so abused, so the Stockholm syndrome indicates that basically you kind of just even fell in love with the captor, who's abused you for a very long time. And I think about the story of Moses all the time. He also lived hundreds of years, power human. Yeah. So I was so intrigued, and it's so funny that like I didn't even grow up with these type of story. Like I briefly learned in history books and bits and bits from different parts. And so I googled it yesterday. Moses is said to live for 120 years. So yeah, I think that was normal back in the day. People definitely lived longer, I believe. Yeah. Yes, the system is comfortable. Many people find it easier to stay. Yeah. So hi, Kristen. So I feel like, definitely not everyone is meant to wake up, and that's the truth. And with We don't need to force anyone to wake up. At the same time, there's always going to be struggle, whether we stay in the system or whether we are out of the system. And at the end of it, we just found that, wow, happiness is not about what we have. It's about just being grateful with where we are. So yeah, so in the story of the Moses, and people were constantly complaining and just reminiscing and be nostalgic about how their life used to be, how good, how better their life used to be. And that concept is very interesting because I think we all have that somehow, right? Can you feel what I'm trying to say? And I think, it's like, but at the same time, when I go back, like all the memories, like there was a time I was doing this, I had this job and all of that. But like, was I happy, right? I think happiness is really the state of mind, because like throughout the day, maybe you have your overall like average frequency. Maybe like you like to stay in peace and love all the time, but we fluctuate our minds, right? And because I'm studying more about astrology, and I'm like going through the house system, like first house, second house, and I have a lot of planets on the third house. It's which is about communication, like the languages, and I'm very good at it. But at the same time, there's a Pluto there in the third house. So and then I'm a Libra. And Libra, I learned we tend to rely on our relationship. So if someone doesn't behave the way I expect them to be, that's when we become a people pleaser. Oh, this person wasn't happy with my behavior, then I have to do more good deeds or something and try to please someone. And that creates for Libra is a codependency. It's like your happiness now depends on people's reaction. And I learned that. And it's like, wow, okay, that has kept me stuck. Now, people's reaction is nothing to do with my self-worth. I have to keep reminding myself. But yeah, it's like learning my moon, and the feelings are powerful. And this is where I also got stuck, because regardless of all my good qualities, if my emotions are so huge because I did not take care of them, because I did not nurture them, and one day became so heavy that pulled everything else down, all other qualities, dim all other qualities. And it's like, pay attention. And so before it gets to that point, moving forward, I'm learning to just like catch the subtle moments of sadness, catch the subtle moments of frustration. Okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that. And I am going to ask the emotions questions. Hello, something, the emotion, and what do you want me to see? What do you want to do? I'm here for you, right? So that's what I'm learning. Okay, so let's continue reading. Today's step 23 rules the day. Add into the net 5, I think, state of awareness. Your mind is searching for a greater picture or understanding of your spiritual purpose and mission ahead. The combined energy of I think and I sense allows for moments of sharp clarity, mixed with cloudy yet deep subconscious thoughts and feelings combined. Deep subconscious thoughts and feelings combined. It's definitely a soul-searching day. Your mind needs freedom for responsibility and for you to park yourself somewhere safe to contemplate the universe. The big questions involves your spiritual purpose in the upcoming year ahead. What does your soul intend to experience? What lessons are you ready to face? What do you sense is inevitable? Your heart seeks to discover the future that you feel is true, and also your heart believes in. Your heart seeks to discover the future that you feel is true, and also your heart believes in. Step 3. Thus you are thus you are shopping today for the ideas or vision that you will have no evidence to support. So here comes the faith. You are thinking about all these ideas. It's like, okay, my feelings tells me this, and my heart believes in this because my heart loves it. And so you are shopping today for the ideas or vision that you will have no evidence to support. Your spiritual vision for what next comes entirely from your imagination and desires. This is the moment where faith must begin. Today is also about deconstructing false future using the same step principles. Your mind may think that you have bad karma in your future. Perhaps you hold an idea that negative fate is inevitable, but when you check the idea to what your feelings tell you or what your heart actually believes in, you may come to find out your mind is thinking things that rest of you does not agree with. So we need to catch that. That will be an example of dispelling a spiritual myth about yourself. How do you know the emotion that comes from your wounded part or comes from your heart desire? When you think about the thought, it makes you feel good. That's the truth. When you think about the thought that makes you feel upset, that's the false belief, right? That's when you catch. And and it's okay that you have no evidence for it, right? And faith is something that you believe even when there is no evidence support whatsoever, because this is what you want. And all you have to do is hold on to that faith. And how can you hold on to the faith? You need to take care of your emotions, because the feelings, when the energy is testing you, right? And the energy triggers when it comes from outside, it triggers you, and then you feel that certain type of way because your mind said, okay, this is what happens when you feel this emotion last time. You gotta be careful, right? So it's okay to think about that, go through that process of like, okay, what if this, and maybe evidence, right? But it's like, no, my heart says yes. So that's what we have to believe. Also know that everyone is figuring out, nobody really know, for that, like we're moving towards the invisible, moving towards the uncertainty. And as we go through that, even though maybe you're working towards the same direction somehow, but you can't really depend on anybody for your own direction and the path, because the very exact person that you maybe look up to or moving towards with you, going ahead with you, is also really uncertain. And that's what I also been noticing. But also after I watched this Moses story on Netflix, and people are complaining to Moses because because they were really uncertain. But at the same time, Moses also had no idea. He had this idea that, okay, the God is guiding me, but somehow sometimes like God tests us, and it seems like God abandoned us, and it's like we can't hear things. It's like, what are we doing? Where are we heading? Like, please tell me what to do, kind of thing. And that's when we need to calm down, right, in order for us to listen. Because when our emotions are really high, and when we are not regulating our nervous system, we're not hearing it correctly. Yeah, lovely. Yes, thank you, Kristen. Moses was 120 years old when he died, yet his eyes were not weak or strength gone. Deuteronomy. Okay, thank you for that word. I couldn't pronounce it. Deuteronomy. CH 34 verses 7 makes me wonder why he died. Yeah. I mean, I Googled him, and he was, why he died is a good question, but I learned that he was not able to see the promised land, and there were a couple of reasons according to Google, but because he showed the angry, and he manifested the water, and then God asked him to, tell the rock to give him water, but instead asking the rock, he broke the rock, and that is against the God's will or something. And like it's probably you heard that somewhere at a church, but who knows, right? Because I think human beings were meant to make mistakes, and we all make mistakes, stupid mistakes, and we all sometimes act out of anger and frustration and disbelief. And as I'm studying more about my astrology, I doubt my God, and because I was killed, and there's a lot of hardship that I had to go through, and because I didn't have this good platform foundation about faith in myself, faith in my path, all of that, and that also troubled me in so many lifetimes. And because I can't hear my voice from within, I will rely on other people. Okay, what's my next move? I was enslaved. Maybe I was not enslaved, but I did not have choice, right? It's like, what am I supposed to do? Okay, what's my next move, right? So that's a typical of me, but I am learning that that's not how you're supposed to live. Once you come out of that system, you make your own choice, and you are kind of just like walking with blind eyes, with faith, and just know that you will get there at some point. You got it. It's a book in the Bible. I sent that verse. It's interesting. He also was the first one doing miracles and saw God face to face on Mount Sinai, Mount Sinai, I think. Yeah, Sinai. Yeah, totally. Okay, I'm gonna read again. Your heart seeks to discover the future that you feel is true, and also your heart believes in. Thus, you are shopping today for the ideas or vision that you will have no evidence to support. Your spiritual vision for what's next comes entirely from your imagination and desires. This is the moment where faith must begin. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. I like to read this again. This is the moment where faith must begin. And I've been tested because I did not have faith. So now I'm learning to have faith. And how can you have faith? You just know that whatever it happened that got you killed, or whatever happened that got you in trouble, will not happen again. And that's where my faith starts. Okay, let's start from there. Whatever happened, whatever mistakes happened, whatever failure I had to experience in my past life in different timeline, this time somehow it does not happen, and let's trust that. Today is about deconstructing false futures using the same step principles. Your mind may think that you have bad karma in your future. Perhaps you hold an idea that negative faith is inevitable. But when you check that idea to what your feelings tell you, or what your heart actually believes, you may come to find that your mind is thinking things that rest of you does not agree with. That would be an example of dispelling a spiritual myth about yourself. I definitely read it for the second time, but it hit me differently. Today, explore your vision for the future. Ask yourself if your view feels correct you, and whether you believe in that course. Feels good, feels right, then let's believe it, right? Whether you believe in that course, come up with what you officially think on the matter. Your mind is reworking the big picture vision for daily routines, work conditions, and quality of your lifestyle. Your chief objective is greater health and joy, but the vision must also be something your heart believes in. You are investigating long-term changes to your boundaries, your safety or intimacy, greater plans to transform your life. Your feelings will tell you if the changes are safe or not. That's the tricky part, because I tend to feel unsafe. And it's okay, I'm thinking all sorts of way, and it's like, okay, this is like where I'm just like thinking about, like I was just thinking about financial stability. It's like That's what makes me really uncomfortable. That's my foundation. But when I know that, okay, I can relax, I don't need to hustle too much, I just trust and attract abundance. And that's where I feel a lot safer. So that's what I like to believe. Today's goal is to see the greatest picture of where life is headed according to your feelings and beliefs. You may also be exploring future options that involve other people, such as relationship, job, or leadership position. If this is the case, communication is key. Express how you feel and what you believe to the other parties. Express how you feel and what you believe to the other parties. Leave their mind to interpret what you feel and believe using their own words. If they own the understanding, they will honor it. That's interesting. You will also be exploring future options that involve other people, such as a relationship, job, or a leadership position. If this is the case, communication is key. Express how you feel and how you believe to the other parties. Leave their mind to interpret what you feel and believe using their own words. If they own the understanding, they will honor it. Enjoy the ponder. I am capable of thriving in any situation. That's a powerful affirmation. I am capable of thriving in any situation. Yeah. One word title. Can you describe in one word the elevated lifestyle you intend to manifest? How is this different to your current lifestyle? What feelings tell you this is the right lifestyle to create? One word. Can you describe in one word the elevated lifestyle you intend to manifest? I'll think about it. I can't really think. I like to say refresh. Refresh everything. It's like refresh contains upgrade, improvement, and maybe doing the same thing, but with a refreshed mind so that I can manifest something better and something more elevated. So yeah, refresh myself, and think, explore a different perspective about things. So I can finally, like I think a Satori is basically you just have a different perspective about yourself and what you're doing, even though the situation has not changed. You're doing the exact same, having the exact same lifestyle, and you're doing things, but maybe you're doing things differently. Maybe your mindset have changed. Maybe your mood has changed as we go through that. One thing I'm changing is I am like consciously try to cook more, because I tend to ignore and shut down about that part of myself. It's like, because my go-to story would be, oh, it's a hassle to cook. I don't have energy for it, even though that's a vital part of me. And I would just, get something from outside, right? Now I'm learning that, okay, this is part of me that I am paying attention. I care about myself, and I know that cooking food and eating my own food grounds me. And I have fear, like also have fear of, like if you know too much, then I started to be fearful about everything you eat, and what kind of water you use. All of that little fears, like, does this food have chemicals? And when you started to think about that, then sometimes you get so paranoid, and it's like you feel like you can't eat anything. I think moderation is everything. You try your best to get organic food as much as you can, but if you can't, then you don't, like, that's when you need to make a choice, right? Maybe it's time for me to eat, or do I have alternative? Or you just be thankful, grateful for what you got, and count your blessings. And that's something that we are so not used to it, right? When we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, or you're feeling like you need to save something, but faith is completely just let go of that fear and just we're gonna worry about this later. We're gonna worry about this later. So yeah, that's the energy. Okay, so two cards popped up today. One is gold, Surround yourself with your soul tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe, so connect with people who get you. There will be some people who just get you and some who don't. Keep the ones who do and ditch the rest. If you pull this card, it's time to call in your soul tribe for support. Your soul family is those you feel a deep bond without being connected by blood. Your souls are on similar missions and then to show up in perfect timing when you need support or guidance. You know it's your soul sister because it feels like you've known each other for a dozen lifetimes. Your energies seem to complete each other and you have mutual love and respect. They help fuel your spiritual growth and remind you of why you're here. There's no doubt. Oh, the card popped up. There's no doubt you are born to your chosen family for your soul's growth and development, but that doesn't always mean you connect on a soul level. If you're if you're the if you're the black sheep of the family, then it's essential for you to find a few like-minded friends that you can count on when you're feeling alone. You'll be intuitively drawn together in a magical way once you put the message out to the universe to find your tribe. I call in my soul tribe and open my heart to give and receive support. I think I picked this card a while ago, and I felt like at the time I was feeling a little lonely about not being able to have like friends that I could talk anything about, and because everything seems to be, like there's gonna be always a topic that I can't, associate with the person, right? Like it's like if you don't know, you are not on the same level type of thing. But I'm learning that like I think everyone's is entitled to have their own opinion, and I don't need to isolate or detach myself from any people, like anyone. Like, can I just relax? And sometimes like when we get spiritually so aware, sometimes we just avoid going to maybe some particular party because of the vibe. And I think what I was doing for the last few years or so, I was so afraid to be influenced and swayed by those vibes and energy. So I would just like, avoid like going to the party because like I will feel everything, and those energy, I felt like they're gonna affect me. And I noticed that that's all my fear. That's all my fear. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. And yesterday I had a lot of moments because I'm learning to catch subtle moment, and I'm just like the people walking on the street, especially the people walking towards me, like because they want to go this way. And then some people does not have the spatial awareness. They sometimes they kids come too close. Or I saw someone who's super drunk and people are like leaving this person because he was drunk on the train, and he was like happy drunk, right? He was just like but really really wasted. And people are avoiding sitting around him, but I wasn't. I wasn't in fear. I just like this person just happy drunk. That's all. So I just like choose to sit not right next to him, but sit closer because the seats were available, and I felt like wow, like that's a growth right there. And there was one woman who was walking briskly, like aggressively towards me. And I had this intense fear at a moment. And she wasn't meaning to do anything harm to me, but I felt it. I felt her energy, right? And then she basically crossed past me and then going towards that direction. And I was just looking at her. It's like, what was that? And I would just keep looking at her, and she was just going to somewhere, right, with mission. And I thought, wow, like, and I pay attention to my feeling, like, hello fear, I see you, I feel you. That was scary as hell. That was scary as well. But I am safe, and she wasn't any harm. So you can calm down now. Thank you for protecting me. I see, I feel. That was crazy, and just acknowledge that feeling. and and then the other one was, I just like I was walking, and then she wasn't coming here like this direction. She wasn't coming here. And I felt this intensity of her energy that was so anxious. This is me like being hyper aware, but I just felt her energy field, right? And then it's like, whoa. And I was able to catch that moment, like, because I'm being pay attention how I feel. And in the moment, I said, okay, this energy is nothing to do with me. I felt it, I sensed it, and I appreciate my ability to feel and sense, but it's not my mine to take. It is not mine to take. God bless her. She's intense. And I could feel her frustration. I could feel her, nerve system being really hyped up and activated, right? And I think it's a power to be able to notice that and differentiate that and detach yourself from that and know that you're safe, and that's nothing to do with my energy, and I can always find my inner peace. And it's kind of like I imagine myself like put in a big balloon, like a bowl, and bowl of light where my energy emanates like this. And it's kind of like it works as a shield, but I'm not trying to shield myself, but it's just like shining my light so bright to the point that no one can disturb this power. I think that's I don't know, I was naturally doing that on the street. Especially, when I'm trying to walk on the street and there's a car that tried to take turns, and then I could feel their, you know what I'm saying, like you can feel their energy, like wanted me to cross faster, or they just like waiting for me to cross the street impatiently, right? and then and then sometimes, like, for any reason, like I have all the right to like cross this, it's like the green light, right? It's like there's no way you can give me that energy because I don't deserve it, because I am here walking like a princess, walking like a queen, and I have the right to do so. And in that moment, I just kind of just like like emanate this powerful energy powerful energy that is like, my peace is unshakable. You are not allowed to intervene this ball of light. Somehow I'm practicing. Yeah. Yes, I totally get it. So I guess like we are all learning to sense each other. We are all learning to feel and sense, and but also differentiating it, detaching it. And that's where we're learning, right? And but in order for us to sense correctly, again, coming back to the power of emotions can be so overwhelming when we go through our own stuff. You can't perceive correctly, and you can't afford, you have no capability to sense other people because your feelings are so overwhelming to the point that it's like this person's energy, it's like, no, like I can't even take care of myself right now. So yeah, that's where we are probably like heading. Okay, I just realized I have one more cards to pick. Okay, yeah, that's a topic is very interesting. Okay, so the second card that I pick is this. Your reality is a reflection of your inner world. The quality of your thoughts reflect the quality of your life. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "You are what you think all day long. Your thoughts create your reality. What you focus on expands. As above, so below." And the list of saying goes on to show what we think we become. Whether you choose to understand it or not, the law of attraction seems to be happening at every moment. When you change your thoughts, you begin to change your reality. The difference between an optimist and a pessimist is choice. You either choose to see the glass half full or half empty. You can search for the silver lining or play the powerless victim role. You get to decide what type of reality you want to experience. When you choose to look on the bright side, you begin to notice the beauty in life. If you find yourself in a funk, begin to examine the latest thoughts and feelings you've been focusing on. What type of energy do they reflect? Use your creative imagination to picture the life you want and believe it is possible for you. You have everything you need within to create your wildest dreams. Notice all the good stuff. You hold the power. I create my reality with the thoughts I think and I feel, feelings I feel. So yeah, that's a powerful message right here. In order for us to, manage our thoughts, because thoughts can be our the biggest enemy. And again, I feel, like when the system feelings is step 5, and that thinking is step 5. Before you think, there's gonna be an energy that leads you to think this way, and that's an emotion. And um, so the emotion is the key. Again, it's the emotion is the key, because when emotions have this heavy emotions and you don't feel good about this situation, and that again, and then that leads to negative thoughts, right? So before, and then the thought, it could influence the feeling and vice versa. But when you think about originally, feeling inspires the thought, not the thought inspires the feeling. So I think it's safe and smart to focus on the feeling, and if you are able to always work through transmuting that feeling into a positive one, so then hence you can, as a result, change the way you think about any situation. So let's continue to nurture our feelings in this powerful full moon. Emotions are high, and this is a moment where we master, where we learn to manage our feeling. So let's set that intention. Let's finish with reprogramming our mind, reprogramming our fascia, and reset our feelings into something higher by using the words of affirmations and words of power of fascia, because we store things in our fascia. The body store it for us. So if we have the stored emotion, when we have that stored memory, when the energy hits, we automatically go to this wounded place if we have stuck emotions, right? When we have some harsh, mistakes or anything that could have happened in the past, or it could be in the lifetime, that always gets in the way. So let's just really, as we are opening our fascia, doing everything we can to do this shadow work, let's really, really reprogramming ourselves and move through this energy, and looking at the parts of ourselves that we have been wounded or ignored or we suppress, and just know that we are safe and we're at a different timeline. We're going through this different world, and so this is where we need to trust and hold faith. So let's take your right hand on your heart, left hand on the top of your head. Feel your body. Feel your body. Go through your heart and the brain. Let's go. Breathe to your mouth. 2, 3. Your nose. 2, 3. Repeat after me. Hello, brain. Hello, mind. Hello, ego. Hello, body. Hello, brain. Did I say that? Thank you for working together in harmony. Thank you for working together in harmony. And put your heart first. I appreciate your smart and efficient work. Hello, heart. You're in charge. I'm listening to you. I'm following you. I am in harmony with you. I love myself. I am lovable. I accept myself for who I am. I am safe, protected, secure. I take care of my emotions every second. I take care of my emotions. My emotions are nurtured every single day. I trust, I receive. I am enough. I am worthy. It's my birthright to have abundant, happy, joyful life. I'm confident. I'm joyful. My body moves with me. My life is about to get fun. Everything is well in my favor. I trust. I have faith in my path. Feel your body. You feel a little short than usual. Ooh, I feel good. Yeah. So let's continue to take care of our emotions. And as you guys are watching or watching a recording, really appreciate you for following my journey. And maybe, okay, not trust, not hope, but trust that you're learning, learning and being inspired, and to apply some of that in your daily life. But I am, just showing up for yourself and showing up is something that I'm good at, self-discipline. But I'm learning that what I'm disciplining myself, right, it matters. So I am taking care of my emotions and trusting more and dropping my fear, because that's an old programming. And it's about how you look at things in order for us to look and at the different perspective with clarity. We need to declutter ourselves emotionally, physically, energetically, and that emotion part is what we are working through in this full moon lunar eclipse. Yeah, beautiful flow. Thank you. Yes, thank you guys for being here, and let's ride this powerful time. And sending you guys so much love, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.